Congratulations on PIVOT PALS. It's a fantastic story. I
Thank
saw in the beginning that it's based on true events. Why were these something you wanted to tell?
Great question. I I haven't seen enough conversation around losing a parent in childhood in terms of film content or even conversations in general. It's something nobody should have to experience, and it's a rare event. As I was one of maybe one or two growing up in my grade that had experienced that, and so the thing that I think people tend to overlook is that, especially for a young child, it's usually I'll speak to my own experience. Surprisingly, it wasn't the actual passing of my father that felt the most challenging. It was everything that came afterwards that you then had to deal with. My mother redating, eventually remarrying, growing up, having a period of time where I was just had my mother and my sister. And, when they would have, bring your parents to school day, there'd be, Father's Day and then Mother's Day. And my mother would come for the Father's Day as well. So it's really, it was those experiences going on that shaped my childhood in both positive and challenging ways. And that's what inspired the story. And also my own maybe insecurities with manhood myself, as I attempted to think about, the male figures in my life growing up and the good and the bad that was brought with them.
Awesome. Your young actor is fantastic.
Yeah.
How was the process to find him? How did what kind of direction did you have to give in order to get him to do such a stellar performance?
So it was my first time working with a minor in a serious role. He's the lead, right? He's half the movie along with his buddy Clay. So the process to find him, I cast a wide net. I was not looking for any particular race at all. I just cast the widest net possible and said, I want to find the best actor that I can find. And so it was colorblind casting. We found Cameron. I thought he was terrific. He was smart. He's 8 years old. I could tell he was talented. He had a lot of experience. He was very excited. And he had a sort of temperament that was very focused in the auditions. And I thought, well, that's good. We can work with that. And so from there, then we ended up casting his mother, not his mother, but we cast the role of Jess afterwards, based on Cameron. And my one of my longest and oldest, my oldest collaborators was Ty Fanning, who played Clay. So I had written the role with Ty in mind. So it was like, okay, who's Ty also going to fit with? I ended up getting Cameron and Ty together for a read in the auditions. I thought, this is great. This works. Ty felt good about it. And the actual process was, it was really, I had, first of all, having his mother there was very helpful, right? Because she was able to really direct him in terms of, okay, time to be focused. Okay, now's not time to be focused. You can go out and play. And it was sort of navigating those worlds, like that. Remember the first day on set, this is probably one of my favorite moments. We had this scene where he spills the ice cream. If you saw in the film at the end, he spills it on Clay. Well, Cameron knew that scene was coming up on our first day of shooting, which means he got to eat a lot of ice cream. So all day, every scene, it's like, are we at the ice cream yet? Are we at the ice cream yet? I'm like, not yet. We're getting there, And so you navigate it, and he's so sweet, and it also is challenging at times, right? Because he's an 8-year-old kid. I mean, I could never have done what Cameron did as an actor if I was 8. I wouldn't have been paying attention. It was incredible to me, the amount of focus and attention he had. So I was very fortunate to work with him in that regard, and I think it helps that I like kids as well.
Awesome. And the contrast of having the adult be the kind of irresponsible one and the child be the responsible one, that was quite funny to me. How easy was it to get that relationship between those two down, where they bicker, but it's kind of like a friendly bickering? Like, was it difficult to get to that point with them?
It was more difficult to find it in the writing than with the talent. Meaning, it's like, what's the balance between this man-child boyfriend and this smart kid who listens to podcasts and is spitting things out that he probably doesn't actually fully understand. He just has heard it enough on the internet that he knows to say it at the right time. So I think more of the challenge came in the writing of those scenes and then with Cameron's performances, I think a lot of child actors are used to playing things very large and very cute and very funny and very happy. He's on Sesame Street or he's in a commercial and it's like, woohoo, like, yeah, it's me. Look at me, big smile. So a lot of the work with him, as you're getting me to go back and think about it, was saying, it's okay. We don't need to overplay this. In fact, maybe Cameron should be really sad for me right now. So it was sort of like taking what I think a normal child actor does and saying, let's do the opposite for this film. And once he was able to tap into that, and I think it helped working with Ty, who's a really fantastic actor and a great scene partner, and he sort of was able to lock in. I was, by the end of the shoot, I was able to say to Cameron, okay, now we're going, like, now remember, you're not happy, you're going to be sad, which I would never use a language like that with obviously actors that are, older and more advanced, but with him, he really got it. Like, it was like, okay, this isn't commercial time. This is a different space. And he was able just to drop in and give a very honest performance.
For the podcast, I thought that aspect was very unique to this movie. What kind of podcast that were inspired this podcast that you used for the film?
It's funny. The thing that actually inspired that was when I was a kid, my mother would listen to this radio station with this woman named Delilah, and Delilah would sort of hear people's problems and work through relationship issues with her. It reminded me of Sleepless in Seattle, where it calls in and it's that kind of radio show. And we used to listen to that, and I used to like it quite a bit. So I actually think I learned about relationships through this radio show, Delilah. So I would say that inspired it. And then, just being a person in 2022, I have plenty of podcasts I listen to all the time. Tim Ferriss, all sorts of things where they're diving into complex topics and trying to uncover it and talking to experts. And so I thought this would be a fun way to, instead of it being a radio show the kid's listening to, let's make it, he's got podcasts at his disposal like we all do. I'm also fascinated with the fact that nowadays you can learn anything you could possibly want. Like, you don't have to go to a university. I mean, you should go to university if that's what you want, but you can pull up a podcast and hear experts speak about complex topics, and you can be 8 years old and listening to it. We didn't have access to that kind of knowledge and education, in the 90s when I grew up. So that's, I thought that was something I wanted to explore a little bit as well.
That is awesome. And this is such a complex story told in a very short time. What were some of the obstacles in getting everything into a film that's under 20 minutes?
I would say having as many locations as we had was supremely difficult. In fact, we were able to pull it off, but if I had to redo this again, I would have found a way to minimize or reduce some of the locations. For me, I wanted to write a story that was contained, right? It's one afternoon. Okay, that's a short film. I can make a short film about one afternoon, tell a full story. But then if you're going to go out with your mom's boyfriend, he's going to take you on an adventure. That's going to probably mean you're going to a number of places. I think that was the most challenging. Was we only shot this in 3.5 days. We were running from location to location. And they say not to do that, right? When you have small budgets and small films, say don't put in too many locations. But I felt like it was important to have them go on a journey even for this piece. So I'd say in terms of the production, that was really challenging to, really build out a schedule. Also, working with Cameron and only having a set, he had less time, Cameron playing Dex, had less time to work than everybody else, right? So if it was just me and my friends, maybe I can push them and do overtime for 12 hours. There's no overtime with minors. So it even gave us more of a, more restraints, and we had to get creative about scheduling.
And you're going to be part of the first Dances with Films in New York City. What does that mean to you? How does that feel?
It's awesome. I spent more of my time in New York than Los Angeles, and so to get to screen my film there and invite so many people that I've been able to meet over the years, that's very exciting to me just on a personal level. Being part of an inaugural festival in that way. I mean, they've obviously been around for 25 years, but that this was a new endeavor. I love that it's an emerging endeavor that, you know, in many ways, the artists involved in this project, including myself, are emerging artists. So it feels like the right fit to be part of something new. That's totally exciting. And I think there's a sort of hype and energy to the newness as well, I imagine, for the programmers and others. I mean, the LA event looks great, but every time you're trying something new, there's some kind of, you know, it's like, oh, there's an unknown element that I think is exciting for everyone involved.
Definitely, Dances with Films has a lot of high quality projects. Your Pivot Pals is incredible. It's a perfect fit. So congratulations on that, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.